There's a building in East Melbourne that changed the rules forever. It's a building that broke height limits, brought in a new era of modernism, and helped transform Melbourne into the city of skyscrapers that we know today. I'm talking about ICI House, now known as Orica House, sitting at the northeastern edge of the Hoddle Grid at 1 Nicholson Street. If you're new here, hello! I'm Ken and I make videos about history, infrastructure, architecture and the environment. I hope you enjoyed today's video. When it opened in 1958, this 84-metre, 19-storey building was the tallest in Australia. It was the first to break Melbourne's long-standing 40-metre height limit. People often said that the limit existed because firefighters' ladders couldn't reach higher. And while fire safety did play a role, it was more about keeping light and air on the streets, preventing congestion, and the influence of the City Beautiful movement, which recommended uniform building heights. ICI House was built as the Australian headquarters of Imperial Chemical Industries. The company wanted an efficient and modern office for its growing workforce. The architects, Bates, Smart and McCutcheon, a Melbourne firm which still operates today, proposed something bold. The tower would occupy only 41% of the site, with the rest transformed into a landscape garden. Planners agreed, and this clever plan helped them avoid the 40-metre height limit and helped reshape Melbourne's planning rules. I should note that not all of Melbourne's CBD is free of the 40-metre height limit. There are a few areas such as Chinatown and Burke Hill that are still required to abide by this limit. To address concerns from the fire brigade, new fire protection systems were introduced at ICI House, including sprinklers above the 5th floor, the highest point their ladders could reach. By the 1950s, Melbourne's central area was declining as people moved to the suburbs for a more comfortable, car-oriented lifestyle. A sleek, modern tower like ICI House was seen as a way to revitalise the city centre and signal economic confidence. The building made headlines soon after it was constructed, as panes of glass shattered and fell to the street below due to impurities and the heat of Melbourne summers. Despite this, the building was both a popular and critical success. More than 20,000 people visited during its first week. The Herald Sun reported that probably no other building since the Royal Exhibition Building of 1879 had captured Melbourne's imagination as much as this glasshouse giant. ICI House was Australia's first true international-style skyscraper, a movement defined by steel and reinforced concrete, wide windows, open interiors, simple lines and strong geometric forms. Its inspiration came from New York, especially the UN Secretariat, and the Lever House. With its glazed curtain wall, ICI House was a beacon of Melbourne's arrival into the modern era. In 2016, The Guardian wrote that at night, lit by 5,500 electric lights, ICI House blazed like a Chinese lantern. The main entry today is off Albert Street, through a foyer sympathetically remodelled in 1989 by the original architects. The foyer features Inga King's Joie de Vivre sculpture. Originally, this was the second entrance. The primary one was through the landscape garden on Nicholson Street. That garden, as well as the water feature and fountain, remain intact and were a collaboration between the architects, landscape architect John Stevens and sculptor Gerald Lewis. The fountain helped soften the impact of such a tall building, adding human scale and the calm sound of running water. Inside, the design was cutting edge for its time. The floors were open plan and the service core was placed off to the side instead of in the centre, maximising floor space, natural light and views over the city. Glass partitions replaced solid walls, allowing daylight to spread deeper into the building. Air conditioning and sealed windows maintained a constant 20 degrees and 50% humidity, which was a luxury for office workers at the time. Staff also enjoyed amenities like a rooftop garden, recreation rooms, and even a lending library on the 12th floor. Today, one of the best ways to experience the building is from the 18th floor cafe. Hub Australia operates the space now, offering what is, I think, one of the most unique views of Melbourne. Originally, the top floor housed a 400-seat cafeteria for staff. I think it's quite nice that a similar space is now open to the public to enjoy. I highly recommend checking it out. Just head through the lobby to the lifts and click level 18. Just be sure to check the opening hours. Because ICI House sits on Eastern Hill at the terminus of Lonsdale Street, it was once visible along the entire length of the street. Of course, these days this is not the case as many taller skyscrapers have shot up, not just on Lonsdale Street but across the city. But the impact of ICI House was huge. In the late 1950s and early 1960s, Melbourne added 22 new multi-storey office buildings. In fact, in photos of ICI House under construction, you can already see the CRA building rising behind it. CRA building became the city's tallest in 1962, at 26 stories, but it was demolished only 18 years later for 101 Collins Street, a 57-storey tower from the skyscraper boom of the 80s and 90s. With each skyscraper boom, Melbourne's skyline grew higher, but in the rush to build taller, many older historical buildings disappear. ICI House stands around 81 metres, while Melbourne's current tallest skyscraper, Australia 108, reaches 316 metres. Even so, in winter, when the trees are bare, you can still spot ICI House from afar as you cross Lonsdale Street. ICI House is one of the few post-war buildings on the Victorian Heritage Register and the first modernist skyscraper in Australia to be protected. It stands as a symbol of optimism, progress, and of course modernity. More than 60 years later, I think the building still stands out. I hope that next time you see ICI House, you think about its incredible legacy and appreciate that it is still standing proudly, especially when so many buildings from its era weren't as lucky. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please consider giving it a like or subscribing to my channel to see more of our iconic Melbourne. And if you've been to ICI House, comment below and let me know what you saw or discovered. See you next time.